The late 1980s. Among the world's wealthiest corporations, there was one name you wouldn't find. Yet it surpassed them all in sheer fortune. The Medellín Cartel. By 1989, the cartel controlled a cash flow no legitimate company had ever achieved. On average, $420 million in small bills poured into Colombia every week. That meant roughly $60 million in cash every single day. On paper, it looked like an unimaginable success. In reality, it created a problem no smuggler could have ever anticipated: too much money. The math was simple. $60 million in $100 bills weighed about 600 kilograms. Every day, week after week, month after month, this massive load had to be stored somewhere. But where? Banks refused to push such colossal sums into the system. The man responsible for managing it all was Pablo Escobar's brother and the cartel's chief accountant, Roberto Escobar. His golden rule was, cash is king, but even kings need castles. And so the cartel bought hundreds of houses, farms, and secret warehouses used solely to hide money. Walls, floors, and attics were stuffed with banknotes. Homes became vaults, vaults became labyrinths. Yet despite all these efforts, the enemies waiting for the cartel weren't the FBI, the DEA, or rival gangs. They were far simpler and far more relentless: rats and humidity. Every night, millions of dollars were devoured by rodents in ways no financial ledger could ever predict. The damp climate turned hidden rooms into tombs, rotting the bills into useless scraps. The losses were so immense that, in a single month, they exceeded what some banks lost in an entire year. The numbers were staggering. $42 million a month lost to rats. $30 million more destroyed by moisture. In just 1 month, nature wiped away $70 million from the Medellín Cartel's treasury. The world's most powerful crime empire couldn't defend its fortune against the forces of nature. Roberto Escobar's solution was clever, but also an act of resignation. He decided to treat the losses like any other business expense. Vanished cash would be recorded as a kind of operating cost. A 10% loss was deemed acceptable. In the cartel's books, millions of dollars eaten by rats became nothing more than another line item. The irony was undeniable. The world's most powerful criminal organization was defeated not by American agents, but by raindrops and hungry rodents.
The cartel could officially launder only about $350 million a month through the system. The rest of the billions? Left to rot in warehouses. Banks were out of the question. Cooperation with the state was impossible. So, in Medellín suburbs, hundreds of houses, enormous vaults, and secret tunnels were built solely for the purpose of storing money. But the story becomes even more fascinating. The rotting money didn't just enrich nature, it also reshaped Colombian society. Pablo Escobar used a portion of his fortune to gain public support. He built neighborhoods, schools, soccer fields, and roads, presenting himself as a benefactor, almost a hero of the poor. For the residents of Medellín slums, Escobar's gifts provided a kind of prosperity the state had failed to deliver. Yet, it also blurred the line between crime and social welfare. The lesson: The tale of millions of dollars eaten by rats is not just an odd anecdote from criminal history. It reveals three essential truths. Every empire, no matter how powerful, can be brought down by simple, invisible enemies. What the DEA couldn't do, rats achieved. Wealth mismanaged will always vanish. It's not the amount of money that matters, but how it's controlled. Some problems cannot be solved by money. Even if you own all the cash in the world, you remain powerless against the laws of nature. Pablo Escobar and the Medellín Cartel, while commanding billions, were in fact prisoners of their own fortune. The bigger the empire grew, the harder it became to manage. Their wealth didn't protect them, it consumed them. In the end, the true beneficiaries of the cartel's fortune weren't Escobar's allies or the state. They were Colombia's luckiest rats and its damp soil. The irony remains striking. The most powerful criminal empire in history wasn't defeated by bullets or bombs, but by rat teeth and raindrops.